Okay, so side covers off. Just a quick little video. Cleaned all this area up. Let's move that gear shifter out of the way. Everything looks pretty good to me, with my great amount of experience. Let's go over here. So here's the side cover that housed. Okay, so I'm in the process of going to be putting the stator back in. So one of the things that I didn't really notice very well on the diagram in the book was you have your two points here where the yeah, and I'm at a loss for words. So not the stator, but the pulse coil. It goes there. But also, there's one right here and right there where there were two bolt screws that were in. And what it is, it's a little piece here that once you have the stator on and you have your wiring through, you put that on, and I guess it holds the wiring in place. So that's I'm just adding that just because I didn't notice it very well in the diagram, and it wasn't something that I sort of had expected. Again, this is the first time I've ever done this, so it's not like I didn't really know what to expect anyways. So it didn't really matter too much. But anyhow, so now what I'm doing is I'm about to put the stator back in. The 3 bolts that hold the stator in have to be put in with Loctite. They have to be put in at a certain, at 5.1 foot-pounds, I believe it is. The one for the pulsar coil is a little bit different. I think it's like 7.1 or 7.2 foot-pounds, which isn't a lot. I guess the reason being is you don't want to over-tighten them, especially if you're putting Loctite on them. The other two that will have the bracket that hold the wiring in as well, they need, I think it's the exact same as a pulse coil. Also, here, just something of note, you have the rubber piece right here. Now, in the manual, it shows to put some gasket maker here. I'm going to use the RTV sealant that I know that was recommended that I use for someone. So basically, you're going to put some in there and then slide this plastic piece or rubber piece right inside, just like so, and then that way there, I guess it gives a good seal. So that'll be done as well. And that's that for now. Okay, so here's another addition to this video. So this is the stator. I'm about to put it in. What I did to make sure that it was lined up is I just put one screw in. There's no Loctite or anything in it. It's just sort of help guide when I put the other 2 screws in with Loctite, button them down, and then from there what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one note that's in there now and redo it. Also, so these three have to be put in with Loctite. The 2 that hold let me move this out of the way. So the 2 holes that you see there to the sort of more top, these 2, they have to be put in with Loctite as well, and then so do the other ones have to be Loctite. Also, right in this gap, I'll get a closer look. Not directly in that hole, but on each side. So on this side and on that side right there, you have to put some gasket maker there to seal. So basically, you have this rubber, I don't know if you want to call it a grommet, but when you put the RTV seal in there, pop that down, and then you have a gasket that goes all on top. And I guess that's going to help create a nice tight seal so no oil gets out. Yeah, so that's what it looks like in its housing, and should be back together for the next video. Okay, so another video regarding the stator. So I've got the stator back in place, the bolts put back in, or the screws put back in, I should say. So everything is ready to go, everything's torqued to spec. Loctite put on the screws. I just wanted to mention, I should have shown this a little bit earlier, but it came with a gasket, or I purchased a gasket Now I know some people can use, may have a tendency sometimes to either use the gasket or use gasket maker. For the few dollars that it cost me, I just decided to pick up the gasket. Now, sometimes the situation with putting a gasket on in between those two parts is that it never stays in place. And I forget where I saw it, or if it was me either talking to somebody or if I saw it on YouTube somewhere, but what I was told, because I do have some RTV gasket maker, is I just put a little bit of a dab on my finger and I basically just ran it all along the outside perimeter, and then I put my gasket on top. I just literally did it minutes ago, so it kind of just helps to hold it in place so that when you are putting it, this piece back on, you'll end up having, it won't slip on you, I guess is probably the easiest way, or that's the hope. So it doesn't keep it there permanently, it's not a glue, but it does help to sort of keep it in place while you're getting it back there, the gasket that is. Anyways, all right. Okay, so everything is almost put back together. Just have a couple more bolts to put in and reconnect the connectors for the stator and the pulsar coil. One thing that I wanted to mention was in one of my earlier videos, I said what I did was with the gasket is I put some RTV on it to help hold it on while I was putting everything back together. Actually, what I noticed when I put the gasket on the other side, so which would be the engine side, there was two little almost like metal dowel things that were sticking out, probably a 1/4 inch or so, and I noticed that when I put the gasket on there, it kind of held it in place perfectly. So I didn't know that beforehand. Again, just learning about these small engines. So anyways, yeah, I just thought that I would mention that as well.